What is it about a game like Catan? Because you take any other type of game, the goal that you're shooting for in a game where you're playing by yourself, I want to beat this game, right? I want to beat this game. So that's my motivating drive. In a competitive game, like let's say a sports game, you want to dominate your competitor and have the best score at the end. So that's driving you to keep playing. What is it about Catan? Where's that loop in Catan that keeps somebody going?
I think the most beautiful games, the games that are evergreen, that last forever, are games where your decision tree is fairly limited, but also very magnified down the road. So like chess is the perfect example of a game where every given turn, you don't have very many options. Like honestly, you might have 10 options every turn, and realistically, you only have like 4 or 5 good options, and you only might have 2 options that are your top 2. Yeah. But every single turn, you take that decision tree and say, well, I had 4 choices, and then 4 choices, and then 4 choices, and 4 choices. And the game is so rich and so deep that you can study the game your entire life and still never master it. And that's what Catan is to me. It's the simplicity of the game that on a given turn with the limited amount of resources you have, you're really like each turn, you're really like, I can build a road, I could build a village, I can build a city, or I could upgrade my culture. Like there's really only like 3 or 4 major decision points every turn, but picking the best one is very difficult. Like being able to consistently figure out like, what is the best way for me to maximize my winning chances here based upon what everybody else is doing with their strategies. And now with the resources I have and the possibilities I have, there's just enough decision points that the game is actually very fun in and of itself. It's not about like, it's less about the reward at the end of the game. And it's more about like every single time you have a turn, right? What are those decisions and how I'm going to come to the right decision. And it's the kind of game where me as a seasoned player playing against a beginner, I'm going to win like 99% of the time, despite the fact that there are dice involved. I mean, the dice is the great equalizer, right? Yeah. It's like poker, where poker is much closer to evenly balanced between luck and skill, which is why you see like amateurs winning the World Series of Poker, because with the right, bad beats for other players and the right cards for them on the river, they can just win. Even though if they played the hand wrong, they can still win. I think Catan, even with the dice, I mean, you could get really lucky and the 8 could roll 100 times and the 6 could never roll. I mean, the dice could be crazy, unbalanced, and you could just lose. But most of the time, like we play with Danny Wrench, who's an international master chess player from chess.com. And he is so frustrated because he's played like 100+ games of Catan and he's won like a few games. And so he's like, I just don't get what I'm doing wrong. And so now he's taking lessons from somebody who's trying to teach him how to be better. And so if a game is rich enough where you can actually take lessons from somebody to figure out like what your strategy
really wants to win.
Yeah, he really wants to win because he's very competitive. But, the game has to be rich enough to where you could actually give lessons and get lessons and talk about strategy, but also simple enough at the same time. And I think Catan did a really good job of balancing the simplicity of mechanics with the richness of long-term strategy. And so the game, I think that's why people are drawn to it and love it so much.